Okay, so I want to talk about what happened in Newtown, Connecticut, where the 20-some children and 6 adults were brutally murdered by a very, very young man who was the age of 20 that decided to take guns and go shoot up an entire elementary school. For what reason, I do not know. If there was a motive behind it, what was it for? And the other part is how he shot and killed his own mother. Like, how could you just do that to your mother? What made you wake up that morning and say, "Oh, I'm gonna wake up and shoot and kill my mother," and then go to kill 26 people in an elementary school? An elementary school? What made you pick an elementary school? And apparently, that elementary school was the school that that guy went to, and his mom apparently worked at. Supposedly, I heard she didn't work at. I don't know. If I'm wrong, you guys can correct me on that. But the one topic that sticks out the most is gun control. Like how the law is and what it says. So, of course, the Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. Well, we see what happens when people have the right to bear arms. They just get out of control. However, people do feel people do feel they have the right to hold weapons in their house, and some are very strong with that. So now the president wants to make sure that this does not happen again, and he wants to make sure that gun control is very, very strict in what it does. More background checks and things like that. People I heard on the news today are rushing to go out and get guns, buy guns as much, for price, because they don't want to get stuck with those types of things, like the background checks and this, that, and whatnot. So they actually have it. Some wanted to protect their family in case anything happens. That's all good and well, but we also have to take into consideration that we do not want guns to get in the wrong hands. So how the situation goes, it can go either way. There's very strong thoughts on it of having to own guns, and then there's very strong thoughts about not wanting having guns out there in the wrong hands. And having the guns in the wrong hands is meaning like kids and people who are, well, we don't know who's gonna snap in the next second, so that can't be deciphered. But the one thing we have to learn is that we have to keep guns out of schools, away from children as much as possible, because these kids went through a lot. They went through a lot, and they are too young to have witnessed something like that. It's for that age group, elementary school, kids that are 5, 6, 7 years old, 8, 9, 10, K through 5th grade. Who can be put through that much, trouble like that? And the kids that were killed, 6 and 7-year-olds, come on now. I mean, you couldn't tell me that guy had no recollection. And clearly this guy was out of his mind. And how the mother did not see this, I don't know. But, we can't go back. We can't do anything about it. I mean, it's done. It's sad. The families are heartbroken that they lost a child. Funerals were attended to, that they were just way too young to die. They had their whole life ahead of them. They were just kids. Innocents. Innocent children. Innocents. They had their whole life ahead of them, and somebody took that from them, right out of their hands. And there was nothing nobody can do about it. The one thing we have to see here is that, I heard that in Tennessee they want to arm teachers with guns, to protect the students. I don't know if that's a good idea, because that is having guns in school. The one thing I do agree with, though, is that we should have extra security in schools, like more police presence in schools, because I know when I went to school, I saw officers within the school, helping out and just patrol and just doing their job. That's one thing I do believe we need to have is more security in schools and less guns out of schools. What do you guys think? Should we arm teachers, for protection of the kids? Or should we have more police presence in the schools? That's your thoughts. Let me know what you think.